Everyone to Dumbo, Brooklyn. For today, we're gonna have a brunch live broadcast. We're gonna chat about brunch here in New York City. Have one of the best pancakes in New York at the Clinton Street Baking Company storefront in the TimeOut Market, which is here at Dumbo Waterfront at the Empire Stores, and with amazing views. We're gonna have a pretty huge brunch. I'm Ariel. This is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from. Today we are between the Manhattan Bridge and the Brooklyn Bridge here at Dumbo, Brooklyn. I went to TimeOut Market. They covered my meal because I'm being sponsored by them on Instagram. The live stream is not sponsored at all, so just keep that in mind. I did get the food for free. So here we are, Empire Stores. And I'm so excited to show you some amazing food. So look at this. We got blueberry pancakes. We got some cold brew coffee, we got some freshly squeezed orange juice, and some poached eggs, bacon, and also some potato. I'm so excited for all of this. Let's sit down, let's enjoy. And with these amazing views, look at that. Wow, absolutely amazing. And also, good views on both sides. So welcome everyone, nice to see you here. My name is Ariel, this is Urbanist, and I explore cities all around the world. And I was supposed to do this with Mary Jane, very awesome creator. Unfortunately, there was she had some personal issues to attend to, so I'll be doing this solo. But feel free to ask me anything as we eat some amazing pancakes. Now, I've tried Clinton Street Baking Company before, but they're notoriously very hard to get into because their original location is in the Lower East Side, and it was a super famous brunch spot, mostly known for their pancakes. Lines will usually be around the corner during a Saturday or Sunday, and I don't think they were open too early on the weekdays, so you couldn't really brunch on the weekdays. And I remember me and my friend were determined to try out Clinton Baking Street Company. So we decided to go late at night. And luckily they still have their pancakes at night. So we ate some breakfast at night, and it was absolutely delicious the first time I had it. This is the second time I'm having Clinton Street Baking Company. I'm excited for it. The TimeOut Market opened up right here inside Empire Stores, where I showed a few days ago the rooftop. The rooftop, they have a rooftop bar. On the first floor, they have a few different food shops and another bar. They have Pat LaFreda burgers, they have Korean food, they have Mexican food, they have all these different types of food. And I'm most excited for the pancakes. Now, the other thing is they also have Jacob's Pickles, which I actually tried the other day. So let's try these. Now, the interesting thing is they make these pancakes with some Maine blueberries. So I'm so excited for this. Let me show it to you. It's I think we gotta get the money shot over here. Hello, Allie. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. Feel free to ask me anything about brunch. We'll chat a little bit more about brunch. These are Maine blueberries that are only in season for 1 year. And when I went to Maine, I absolutely fell in love with the blueberries. But they put the blueberries both inside and on the top. Since this was to go, I put it on top afterwards. They had put it in a separate container. But look how fluffy these pancakes are. Wow, look how fluffy they are. That's super fluffy. Is that cream cheese? I don't think it's cream cheese. What I put on top is their maple butter. So I put on their maple butter, which is their like special maple sauce. That's what I put on top. So that's their dipping sauce. All right, let's try it out. It cooled down a little bit, so it's quite a mouthful. But wow, these are super fluffy. Very, very super fluffy. Like, I make pancakes at home, but to get this amount of fluff is difficult. The blueberries, I was expecting it to be super sweet, because most pancakes in America are super sweet. They do that because, having that whipped cream and having that extra sugar in it, people like it. But I like that. I can actually taste the butteriness on the outside of the pancake. So they grill it on a very, very buttered grill. So you get that beautiful caramelization on the bottom, and it's super buttery in taste. So what is a pancake? A pancake is a stuffed bread. And a stuffed bread, pancake is a flatbread. Flatbreads have been existing in one way or another throughout millennia. But this version of the American pancake is mostly flour, baking powder, soda sometimes, eggs, buttermilk, and basically that's it. Sometimes it has cream, sometimes it has sour cream, sometimes it has regular milk, sometimes you have vegan options. This one's butter, flour, buttermilk, water, and probably baking soda and baking powder. So it is a cake, but it's grilled immediately. So it's a quick cake rather than an oven cake. So what you end up having is more of it's flatter, of course, as a pancake, but it's more kind of fluffier, more dense, more butterier. Look at that. So let's try their orange juice. And hello, Vlad. You love my channel. Oh, thank you. Where's Mary Jane? Mary Jane unfortunately couldn't come due to she had to take care of something. So unfortunately she couldn't come. Made pancakes for my kids, but she's watching online right now. So luckily she was able to catch online. And then you made pancakes for your kids this morning. Whipped egg, whites folded at the end, and a splash of sparkling water to make them fluffy. Ooh, interesting. You use sparkling water. That's interesting. All right. So before this gets too cold, here is poached egg. Probably it's already getting very cold. Poached egg, some double smoked bacon, and some potatoes. Hello, Cecile. All right. Can't read the comments too well because I have a fence behind me. All right. Hey, Ariel. How can I say your name properly? It's Ariel in English, or you can say in Spanish, Ariel, which is the original one. Nice shirt and scarf. Thank you so much, Panagiotis. And Wendy says, morning, good to see you. And hello, Sajid from Bangladesh. Nice to see you, Sajid. Welcome from Bangladesh. And New Jersey Walks, will you go to Domino Park? Not today. Today we're in Dumbo. We're pretty far away from Domino. It is pretty close by ferry though. And there's an art to getting fluff and not being dense, says Bella. Oh yeah, Bella. That is so true. And hello, Maria. Delicious blueberries. Oh, so the blueberries, as I mentioned, is not too sweet. They're really relying on the blueberry flavor. And that's why I really liked when I went to Maine. Maine is basically the berry capital of the US. And I did like a 1 week stint of videos over there on Urbanist. You can find them on the Facebook page. And their blueberries, you don't need extra sugar to get good blueberry taste or any type of berry taste. The amazing sweetness / bitterness of the berries are just so evident when you have them fresh. And these are fresh from Maine. Or at least were fresh and then were frozen. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure if they are using it fresh for this season. Let me have another bite of this. You're having cinnamon twist for breakfast. Oh, amazing, Shields. Hello, Dixor. Quite a name. Hello, Todd. What happened to the daily paleo diet viewers? No, this is not a food diet channel. This is not a medical channel. So this is a tourism channel, travel channel. So we're eating, you know. If you want paleo, there's so many options out there. Try the butcher's daughter here in New York City. All right, let's try this bacon. Well, first let's try this poached egg. Oh, I gotta show you. Oh, I love going to the poached egg like that. Look at that. Poached egg, the best. We got pigeons surrounding me. They're ready. They're on the hunt. They're on the hunt, ladies and gentlemen. Rissa, I'm making you hungry. Oh, amazing. So today, my original intention today was to chat with Mary Jane about the differences between American breakfast and Italian breakfast. But in order to improvise, we're going to have a little bit of a more relaxed discussion. So feel free to ask me any questions about American brunch. Scavengers are lurking. They are. I'm very picky with my pancakes. Not a fan of flapjacks. Yeah, so these are really fluffy pancakes. Really fluffy. All right, let's try this out. Poached egg with some potato. This guy's daring. Look at him. Look at him. He's ready. Uh-oh. This one's ready. He's a confident one, is he? Oh, we have two of them. All right. Do they have hollandaise? No, these were plain. They have a one with made with salmon. Oh, some guy he wants in, yeah. There we go. Okay, so careful, as pigeons could be germ carriers. You know, that's how I got them away. Otherwise, maybe they'll want more food. So great poached egg. Poached egg, for anyone who doesn't know, the reason it's so soft and white, you don't see any crispiness or anything, or any friedness, is because it is poached, which means it is submerged into boiling water, or somewhat boiling water, and it's kind of swiveled around. This is probably one of the hardest things to master. I mean, you can make a good poached egg, but to make a great poached egg takes quite a bit of practice. And funnily enough, one of my favorite movies is Julia and Julia, which is partly based on the real life story of Julia Child. And they show Julia Child struggling so much with the poached egg at French cooking school. All right, let's try this bacon. Wow. Very, very juicy bacon. Susie poached them in the microwave. Susie, I'm not sure if is that considered poached if you do them in the microwave? Very juicy bacon. Hello, Judy. Nice to see you here. So Chelsea says, what's your favorite flavors of pancakes? At this place, they had two flavors. Clinton Street Baking Company at Empire Stores and TimeOut Market they have blueberry, they have plain blueberry and banana walnut. My favorite, the go-to for me, is banana. I love banana pancakes. Or banana topping on the pancake. Let me know, what's your favorite pancake topping? But another topping I really go crazy for, but it's much more rare, not that many places do it, is putting some raspberry on it. And I got some raspberry because I gotta have a biscuit. I'm gonna take it to go, give it back to family. But raspberry is really, really good, especially when it's like fresh raspberries. Ha says chocolate chip. Josh says Nutella, amazing. And I love poached egg, but yours is cooked. The yolk should be runny. It's a bit cooked because I took photos because the Instagram post that you're gonna see of this food is sponsored by TimeOut Market, not the live stream though. So it took me like 10 minutes or so to make photos. So that's why it's not super runny, but it's pretty runny nonetheless. Do I have plans to meet up with Action Kid? Yeah, at some point. And then sure when. And te queremos a Ari. Enviamos. Puedes llamarme Ariel. Yo no voy por Ari. Pero qué bien que te gusta el programa y que estás mirando de Argentina. Puedes preguntarme cualquier cosa ahora. Estamos comiendo un desayuno y estamos comiendo pancakes, que son como, no sé cómo se dice pancakes en español. Me dice cómo se dice pancakes en español. Did Walk Right Fly message me back? He will soon. He will soon. And love raspberry too, says Janice. Yeah. It's so good. All right, I'm going to show you another poached egg running off. Let's do it. How about Tom D, NYC? Not yet. New Jersey. Oh, look at that. That's a poached egg. Nope. Going the other way goes too close. Wow, that looked amazing. Please do a collaboration with Dutch Moss. I did one collaboration with him many years ago. Maybe one day again. All right, let's switch sides because unfortunately I can't read your comments too well. One little thing about live streaming is that when there's like this type of fence and there's too much light, it's hard to read white text. So I'm switching perspectives. Okay, that's much better. Sunny side up for you, Jackie. I get it. Sunny side and scrambled are amazing, but if you haven't tried poached at least once in your life, highly recommended to give it at least one little try. Gank says it's disgusting. Well, sorry to offend you, Gank. Argentina serán panqueques. Oh, qué bien. Panqueques is how you say pancakes in Spanish. Nicer background now, yeah. It's a little bit easier for me to read. That's such a cool hangout spot. It really is. The TimeOut Market is gorgeous inside. Before I mentioned that I didn't like it too much because of the price. And it's because I went to a few of the other places. I went to the bar and went to another place. But Clinton Street Baking Company, they have the same prices as their restaurant, and it's faster service, so I think it's worth it to come here for that. So let me keep on biting in. These pancakes are divine. I mean, they just keep getting better and better. Dip the bread in those eggs. Oh yeah, let's do that. So some sourdough bread. Are the pancakes fluffy? Let's say this. In many movies throughout history and cartoons, there's often depictions of heaven and the characters jumping up and down on the fluffy clouds, relishing in the beautiful softness of this otherworldly realm. That's how fluffy they are. Just like heaven in all the films and cartoon shows. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Hell of a way to describe pancakes. I'm glad, Josh. And Jackie, that's fluffy. Yeah, it is. Very fluffy indeed. Very fluffy indeed. So I do have my coffee here. Also got a cold brew from them. Let's see how it is. It's all right. It's all right. It's not the best. It's iced coffee, so it's not cold brew. It's hot coffee over ice. Not that good. If you the food is amazing and the orange juice is really good as well. It's not super strong. Oh, because it's pretty fresh. Yeah, orange juice is fresh. If the coffee is a bit too watered down, so maybe not the coffee from this place specifically, but the nearby recommendation I would give you is the Brooklyn Roasting Company. They're only like 2 blocks away. Really good cup of coffee as well. Haas says, I enjoy your honest opinions of food and drinks you try. Yeah, my pleasure. You know, I tend to praise more than criticize. I'm not a food critic by no means, and I don't want to be a food critic. But I'm glad you enjoy my initial reactions. You know, it's live video. I can't really hide if I don't like something because I can't edit it out. And no maple syrup. Yes, there's maple syrup. It's already hardened. Guys, it's cold and the maple syrup has become maple butter. It was liquid. It's a semi-liquid now. It's like a slime. So it's like their maple butter. But I prefer pancakes, and the blueberries are quite enough. You don't need more sugar on this. So 4K has a great question. Is brunch a portmanteau? And excuse me. Excuse me, something got stuck in my throat. Don't fully chew those blueberries. They're tiny. I inhaled the blueberry, ladies and gentlemen. Whole. You know when politicians say, I puffed, but I did not inhale. Well, I didn't puff. I fully inhaled a blueberry. That is. I don't think I'll die with a blueberry. Josh, don't worry. Ooh. Don't recommend inhaling blueberries. Inhale maybe other things. So, is brunch a portmanteau? Asks 4K Wanderer. The blueberry is still stuck in there, but luckily they're soft. It'll go down some way. Maybe I'll take another bite to put that blueberry down. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, don't eat blueberries and stream, because you might inhale full blueberry. So, 4K Wanderer asked such a great question that it got me completely winded. Is brunch a portmanteau? So brunch is indeed a portmanteau, and it's a combination of breakfast and lunch together. So it is indeed a portmanteau. We're here in the neighborhood of Dumbo, which is not a portmanteau. That's an abbreviation. So not abbreviation. It's a acronym. It's down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass right here. So 4K Water, thank you for the amazing question. Haley blueberries may be the start of a slippery slope, says Donald. Says that inhaling blueberries might lead to other gateway fruits. It might be a gateway fruit. It might lead to the consumption of other fruits. You know, once you inhale blueberry, who knows what's next? It could be an entire strawberry. You can even start inhaling pineapples, mangosteens. Ooh. I don't want to go down that road, ladies and gentlemen. So, I inhaled, but only once. Oh, you guys are hilarious. So, 4K Wanderer says, today blueberries, tomorrow DMT. That's funny. All right. So if I missed the question, feel free to ask me again. The hard stuff, that says Susie. Yeah, indeed. Hello, Silvia. Bienvenidos. Estoy comiendo hoy, ¿cómo se dice brunch en español? Brunch, que es la comida que se come entre desayuno y... I don't even know how to say lunch in Spanish. How do you say lunch in Spanish? Let me know. ¿Cómo se dice lunch en español? ¿Cómo se dice brunch y cómo se dice lunch? I just eat in Spanish. I don't really know all the terms in Spanish. Seems like you need a Negroni. So they do have a rooftop bar. It opens at 4 p.m. Refacción. Interesting. Refacción. Oh. Almuerzo is lunch, yeah, almuerzo. So brunch is refacción. Thank you. Do you make coffee or espresso at home, asked Todd? Yes, I do. What is a mukbang, asked Janice. Janice, mukbang is a term for eating on camera. And I just put it down because I know some people know what I'm doing. So mukbang. If you see me doing future videos called a mukbang, it just means that it's live, but I'm just sitting down and eating on camera, not really walking around, but maybe even inhaling another fruit. Is Mary Jane not with me? No, not today, unfortunately. But hopefully we will be able to rain check with maybe another type of brunch with Mary Jane. So stay tuned. I'm surrounded by helicopters, and I think they got wind of the blueberry. Yeah, the helicopters know about the blueberry. Hey, did you hear about Sarah Funk's pregnancy? I heard yesterday. Yeah, congratulations to her. That's awesome. I'm having an apple pie and coffee. Ooh, that's good. So let me know in the comments. What do you eat for brunch? What's the brunch in your area of the world? Not every area does brunches, but there's quite a bit of areas that do brunches. I know the UK does. I think certain South American countries do. Definitely Colombia does their bandejas, which are like a huge plate of massive food. So their brunch is crazy in Colombia. Puerto Ricans do a brunch kind of in a way as well. Let me know, what's your brunch? Is Mary Jane code word? No, I'm not using a euphemism when I say Mary Jane. It is an actual human being, my friend, Mary Jane. Well, we had to rain check, but we're rain checking to do a video about brunch in the near future. British author Guy Barringer suggested an alternative to the heavy post-church Sunday meal in favor of lighter fare served during the Saturdays. Yeah. So that is one of the starts of brunch. Brunch started because there's two main reasons for brunch. One reason was that people would drink very heavily on Saturdays, and in order to keep people at the bar on Saturdays and restaurants running on Sundays, they didn't want to serve lunches that were traditional before the 1400s or so. Traditionally, the lunches during a Sunday was very meaty, very heavy meats. And if you're hungover, especially going towards later in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, when beer started getting a little bit stronger, if you're hungover, you do not want to, generally people don't want to eat a very meaty, super meaty meal. So there was a suggestion by Guy Barringer to have kind of in between breakfast and lunch, where you end up having a brunch, where you end up eating more pastries and lighter fare. And that's one of the first starts of brunch. The other one is right before Lent, right before Fat Tuesday. What's the other name for a Fat Tuesday? Shrove Tuesday. Shrove Tuesday. There was in Lent, people usually eat less. It's different for every type of Christian denomination, of course, but generally people start eating a little bit less, or they give up a few things. And I think immediately after Shrove Tuesday, they end up cutting down. So there was a day called Pancake Day right before it, where people would just kind of stuff up on pancakes. But pancakes is interesting. So slight viewer discretion is advised. I'm going to show you very old skeletal remains found of a man who was more than 3,400 years old in the mountain ranges in Eastern Europe. So this is what is known as Oatsi the Caveman. Oatsi the Caveman is one of the oldest well-preserved skeletal remains or bodily remains in the world, because a few Norwegian explorers found him buried basically within the glacier. This is how Oatsi looked like, estimated. So this is around 3,400 BC, 3,400 BC. So that's plus 2,000. So it's 5,400-year-old man that they found, very well preserved. So well preserved that they were able to find food in his stomach and know what type of food it was. So what food did Oatsi, the Iceman, they call him, what did he have in his stomach 5,400 years ago? Oatsi, the Iceman, died, right, Anessa? Died after he ate a good pair of pancakes. He had pancakes. It wasn't a bread. They were able to tell it wasn't a bread because it was mixed, I think, with egg or with some type of egg that they had more access to. Maybe when that wasn't chicken eggs, it was probably another type of egg. But he was indeed eating pancakes. Not blueberry pancakes, but pancakes. So that's how old pancakes really are. Please tell me if you can put a millimeter down the camera. The hands are cut out, and we don't see the food. I'll show you the food one more time. It's a bit hard to frame with the food, because otherwise I have to put the camera super far away. I don't know how other live streamers do it. So, I wish I can frame the food while eating, but I'd rather have as much access to reading comments as possible. How to stop the water? What water? Oatsi is pronounced Oatsi. Oh, cool. All right. It's tasty looking. It really is. It really is. This is an excellent breakfast. Highly recommend Clinton Street Baking Company. I'll be posting a few photos on Instagram and on Facebook. I like the bacon a little bit crispier. It says this one is crispy and tender. At the same time, look how thick it is. This ended up costing me. This is a breakfast for two, all right? If you're eating with kids, you can easily eat this, between 3 or 4 people. This cost me $50. But I did get it for free. Just to preface that. The stream isn't sponsored, the photo is. And got the meal for free for the Instagram. So it's sponsored by TimeOut Market. So thank you, TimeOut, even though this is not sponsored by them. He's eating MJ's half too. Yeah, I am eating MJ's half. We ordered one more thing. If Mary Jane was able to collaborate today, we would have also had waffles. They have apple pie waffles. So, para Argentina, paneta. Qué bien. ¿Qué pateta? Paneta. ¿Qué es eso? Manjula says, I will join you. I'm almost done, so I don't need any help right now. Never eat pancakes and drink Kool-Aid. Not a good combo, says not today. Ooh, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's what. Isn't it fascinating that here in America, we eat sugary stuff for our breakfast? I just find that fascinating. Some other cultures do that too. The Italians do that too. With I'll show you. The Italians eat the cornetti, stuffed with crema, sometimes for breakfast. And Luis Funk did a tour of TimeOut Market. Yeah. He knows about his food. He definitely does. I've met him before. Really cool guy. So here's also the Italian Maritoso. The Italian Maritoso, in Rome at least, is a bread stuffed with whipped cream, and it's delicious. Like, this is not cannoli. It looks like a cannoli from the photo perspective of the photo, but this is a bread stuffed with whipped cream. It's about this big, and it's so delicious. So, pancakes actually exist all around the world. You have your omayaki, which I might be mispronouncing that, so forgive my Japanese. That is made with cabbage. So they have flour, cabbage, and a few other ingredients. Sometimes it's mostly topped with octopus and pork sometimes. So you have the omayaki, which is cooked like a pancake. It's just like a very different tasting pancake, and it's actually really good. I love omayaki. We have the Italian dosa, which is also in the pancake family. And you have this type of like kind of very, 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 very flat bread that's also fluffy. And another descendant of the pancake is injera bread, which we had at Washington, D.C., at Ethiopian restaurants. So you go to either Ethiopian or a Eritrean restaurant, and you'll have injera bread, which is also very fluffy, like a pancake. But it's made with tej, which is a different type of flour. So Elisa says in Slovenia we have balančke. I don't know how to pronounce that. Balančke. I think I have a photo. Is this it? Is this the one? That's another pancake from Eastern Europe. And Donald comes with the pronunciation okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki. Oh, thank you so much. Okonomiyaki. Thank you so much. And what I love, I actually visited this last year with my friend Jenny on live video. Souffle pancakes that were designed or made in Japan and has become popular over here. And that's a really great pancake. It's huge. It's really good. So what neighborhood is this, Jose? It's Dumbo. So those are all the different pancakes available. And 4K Wanderer leaves a super chat. Thank you so much, 4K Wanderer. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, thanks for the brunch. My pleasure. Balenchke. Oh, I have another friend over here. I easily make friends. What bridge is in the background? Manhattan Bridge. Okay, everyone. I'm gonna finish the rest of this. If you want me to stick around for 10 or so minutes, let me know. I'll eat a little bit more because I'm very hungry. I might do a few extra photos across the Manhattan Bridge. Kay says, stick around. All right, we'll do. Okay, well, we can do this. After I'm done eating, if you guys want to see the TimeOut market, I can show you from the outside. Can't go inside because I have to like refill out a form and get another temperature check, but I'll show you from the outside. And Lorge says, I look well maintained. This is because I am. Indeed I am. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, do they have an app? Yes, they do. They have an app. You can order. In order to enter, right now because of the pandemic, they are checking your temperature, and you do have to like fill out a form on your phone, online. They just ask for your name, address, and phone number. I don't know what they might be using the information for beyond contact tracing. Maybe it's just contact tracing. I hope it's just for contact tracing. But if it's more than that, I hope not. That's not the case. That's why I'm a little bit wary with sometimes with companies. But nonetheless, it's huge indoors. They're checking it just so. Also, they're checking for contact tracing. So it's huge indoors. But you can order it on the app, take it to go, eat outside. The eating area is beautiful here. So if you end up gaining food, just get food that you know that you don't need to eat it super warm, especially if you're eating in the wintertime. You don't need it super warm. and I think you'll be okay eating outside. That's why I got myself an iced coffee and an Americano. Otherwise, the Americano would have gotten cold very quickly. Robert, someone sent a super chat. Who was it? Let me know, Fatima. Thank you. Do they take cash or strictly card? Thank you, Elisa. I appreciate it. Elisa told me I had a little bit of food on my lips. Thank you. New York City for a long time, not for a long time, for like two years or so, a lot of new businesses were doing card only. They say it's in order to prevent theft and to stop handling cash. The real reason is, I think, is handling cash for many businesses, especially the chains, was cumbersome because it was cumbersome in taxes. It was cumbersome also when it comes to paying someone to count that money. I think they wanted to save a little bit on labor costs. So businesses were going card only. And issue was here in New York City is there's still a lot of people who prefer not to use card. And a lot of people who are older also don't use card. So there's a lot of elderly here in New York City that never really use a card, and there's a lot of foreigners who don't have American credit card. So New York City recently has enforced no card-only establishments. So they do have to accept cash. So nowadays, you might find cash only, but cash only is only really in the small, hole-in-the-wall, greasy spoon places. A place like TimeOut Market, or basically any type of chain, may it be local, or any major restaurant, they will always have card and cash. Cash only will only be in those like very few hole-in-the-wall places. If any place you encounter here in New York City where they say it's only card, you gotta tell them like, hey, you gotta accept cash. So they gotta accept cash. Now, some places are small. Jackie says card only is discriminatory against people who don't carry cards. Yeah, right. I get it. Like technology is changing, is upgrading very quickly, but there's still a very good benefit in allowing cash, because I've noticed sometimes I go to other countries and they don't accept the American credit card. So what am I to do? Do I need to open up a new credit card? It's a lot easier just paying cash. Hey Sarah, nice to see you here from Saudi Arabia. Ooh, welcome. I've been watching videos of Saudi Arabia. It looks very beautiful. The only downside to this broadcast is that you left me feeling hungry, says Kay. Oh, okay. Yes, no cash means it's easier to tax to be drawn at the source and avoid criminals whitewashing money. Yeah. I mean, it's a complicated issue. A very complicated issue. You can learn. There's so many videos that go much more into detail about cash, card, future money, etc. If anyone left me a super chat, do let me know. I might have missed one. And let me know if I missed any questions. So if you have any. So Robert is asking, Apple iPhone has an app that you can tell if a person is near you with COVID. I don't know about that. I don't know. I haven't encountered that yet, Robert. So I don't know. I haven't used an app of that sort. I think that's in another country. There's another country that has officially done that. I don't know which is the country. I think it might be China and Taiwan and maybe Korea have done where you can check if someone has COVID nearby. But I don't think there's any official app here in the US for that. Businesses have to pay when customers use credit cards, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Yeah, indeed. Ooh, wow. Great question about the bookshop. Ooh, what's the question about the bookshop? Feel free to ask again, Allison. And Mary Jane, oh, thank you so much for the super chat. You didn't need to do that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Don't have neither PayPal. I let others order things for me on the internet, says Elisa. I must refresh at my modus in pain. Oh, yeah. You know, PayPal is such an easy thing to use. Susie is saying that the app for COVID here in New York City is called COVID Alert NY. Okay, cool. COVID Alert NY. Allison asks, what's the best bookshop in New York City? Great question. In my opinion, the one I constantly recommend is, I got a super chat from B. Oh, sorry everyone, super chats for some reason haven't showed up on my screen. So thank you, B and Mary Jane. Thank you for the super chats. They haven't showed up in my screen for some reason. I'm not sure why. So thank you so much for the super chats. I appreciate you. If anyone asks a question with those super chats, do let me know. So best bookstores, I always recommend the Strand. The Strand is by far one of the best bookstores in all of New York City, in my opinion. There's a lot of great other bookstores. There's McNally, Jackson, and Nolita. In Brooklyn over here, in Fort Greene, right by downtown Brooklyn, is, what's the name of that place? I forgot the name, but it's in Fort Greene. I'll let you know. It's an amazing bookstore in Fort Greene. I forgot the name. But the Strand is my favorite. But there's also great comic book shops. ACAB mentions Midtown Comics. Yeah, Midtown Comics is really, really good. And I also love Forbidden Planet, right next to the Strand. Is also a really great comic book store. There's a McNally Jackson in Williamsburg. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. So the McNally Jackson in Williamsburg is gorgeous and it's huge. Really beautiful bookstore. Highly recommend it. Karina, thank you. What's the difference between a breakfast and lunch and brunch here in the US? They blur a whole lot. Great question, Mary Jane. They blur a whole lot. I gotta put on my gloves because it's very cold and I got a few more bites left before we walk and I'll show you Empire Stores. So, because they blur so much, sometimes you can have breakfast and, you know, it's this. They call this breakfast all day. However, people tend to eat breakfast a little bit lighter. So brunch has more emphasis on the alcoholic drinks you might accompany with the food. which is the mimosa, is the most iconic brunch drink. The Bloody Mary is another. Not so popular, but was classically popular back in the 1960s and 70s. So it's the cocktails that accompany with the usually breakfast items. It's the more extravagant looking breakfast items. So eggs Benedict, which is poached egg with like a potato pancake on a with salmon, is considered a brunch item because it's very expensive and it's very kind of hard to make. So that is kind of brunch. Brunch is breakfast items, but they're a little bit more harder to make. But when it comes to breakfast, there's other items in breakfast that are not in brunch. So breakfast cereal isn't really too popular. You would be hard pressed to find a brunch place in the U.S. with cereal on their menu. Cereal is mostly seen as breakfast. Cornflakes with milk. Oatmeal, something usually just breakfast in the U.S. You don't really see oatmeal in brunch, lunch, or anything else. Bagels with cream cheese, usually in New York City, is only a breakfast item. People get it early in the day, or they might have a bigger bagel but later in the day. But usually people call it breakfast. You don't really see a bagel on a brunch menu. Pretty rare. There's a few places, but it's a bit more rare. That's the difference. When it comes to international cities, that's where it gets a lot more complicated. You know, in Colombia, for example, the brunch over there is the bandeja, which is a whole plantain, rice and beans, pork rinds, arepa, all on like a massive tray. That's what bandeja stands for, tray. So it's like a huge plate of food. And that is very savory. So that is more like a lunch type of fare. But the reason certain areas of the world eat a brunch that's more savory, more meaty, is because they believe that eating a bigger meal for lunch is better for your system. Now, in the UK is very interesting because the UK, they have the full English breakfast, which the full English breakfast would look like a brunch due to its size. But it's just like their version of breakfast. I think English brunch is more with more pastries. Lays says, this is not live. You're right, Lays. I completely planned to say your name ahead of time. I knew you were going to tune in, Lays. So when I recorded this in the morning, right now it's the morning of Sunday, it's 9 a.m. on Sunday. I planned it. I knew you were going to tune in. I knew someone by the name of Lays was going to tune in, but more specifically, I knew you were going to tune in. BB says, I sent a super chat. Thank you so much, BB, for your super chat. Says, I love your live videos. I'm so glad. I need proof, you know. Told you. Lays, it's completely recorded. Of course, I'm joking for anyone else who might not get the sarcasm I'm doing. Hey, Dutch Miles, nice to see you here. Brunch is breakfast that is not preceded by alarm, says lowercase guy. In a way, you could say that, yeah. Yeah, you could say that. Another reason for brunch popularity here in the U.S. is that in American culture, oh, my friend is back. Oh, he left. A bird landed right by my gimbal. In American culture, usually there's emphasis on going out late at night on a Saturday. This might be the case in a few other places, but more in American culture, there's more emphasis of that's your night of drinking. Here, it's not like in Europe where drinking is spread out throughout the week. You know, there is no night of drinking in many European cultures. Of course, there's exceptions and it's more nuanced to that, but just overall. And Cynthia says, I say good day and you ignore me. Thank you. Cynthia, I get many comments running all along. I appreciate everyone's leaving a comment, but I'm unable to read every single one of them. So, and also we're having a conversation. I got to chat. I can't just dictate all the comments. That wouldn't be a fun live stream. So trust me, whoever I pick and whatever question I answer is the question that exactly everyone needs to learn or wants to know about. So in Europe, you casually drink on a Wednesday during lunch or later in the day, especially when you go to continental Europe, along Western Europe and the Mediterranean. It's casual to drink late at night or on a Wednesday, 4 p.m. When I went to Spain, people were drinking beer at 11 a.m. on the Tuesday. It's just normal. It's just normal. And the reason it's normal, and the reason that it's normal is because drinking was never really stigmatized. So there's two types of countries in the world. There's your dry countries and there's your wet countries. Dry countries are the countries that have stigmatized drinking alcohol in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, the most obvious dry countries are the ones where alcohol is obviously illegal. And sometimes for religious reasons, like Saudi Arabia or Dubai. You're not going to really drink alcohol there. That's a dry country. That's an obvious one. But there's not so obvious dry countries. The dry countries that also exist is the U.S. U.S. is considered a dry country because we stigmatize drinking, and we have full out illegalized it for 10 years. So we have stigmatized drinking, and drinking is still stigmatized on the cultural level. The weird thing is with America is that it's also like fetishized as well on the completely other spectrum, where it's also seen in movies where college kids are just binging, right? Thing is with dry countries, if there isn't a super static and firm religious barrier to it, like in the Muslim countries where many of those countries, the religious values are inserted into the laws. If that's not the case, in the other countries where there's more of a separation of religion and states, there is more heavier drinking because it is stigmatized. You, as an American, for most Americans, or at least in the general cultural way, of course we're generalizing, we're not talking specifics, it's weird to drink a beer at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. It's weird. But for a Spaniard or for a French person or for an Italian, it's normal. It's normal. That said, that's why we put all that day of drinking to the weekend, Friday night and Saturday night. That's when you go all out and drink like crazy. And that's why a lot of films in the US depict extremely heavy drinking in many college films, for example, like American Pie movies or any type of fraternity movie. Or you see another movie like The Hangover. They depict heavy drinking. So, since we drink heavier, we end up getting hangovers. And the hangover, when people are hungover after a heavy night of drinking, they really want to eat a good breakfast. They don't want to eat heavy meats. They want to eat more pastries and more breads and more stuff like that. And there might be a deeper reason for our relationship in biologically with being very hungover and needing some type of kind of more breadier foods and more sugary foods. So that's why in the 1950s and 60s there was a marketing push to have more brunch, because they saw, just like that other guy we mentioned, Gus Salinger, or was it Gus Beringer in England, here in America, there was also an economic incentive to have brunch, to start selling brunch around 11 a.m. because people are hungover, they wake up later, and they just want to have a heavier meal a little bit later between 11 and 4 p.m. So I hope that makes sense, everyone. That's the brief version of the nuances of brunch. Hey, Terry says, I don't drink during the day. You're from Minneapolis. From Minneapolis. But I discovered white wine sangrias, and they were packed with flavor and great fruit. Where can I get a great sangria? One of the best sangrias in New York City. There's two places. Sevilla in West Village. Classic Spanish restaurant. They opened up around the 1940s, 50s-ish. Great recipe. And another place in Soho called De España. Amazing sangria. Those are top two sangria places. And the reason they're so good is because it's not just a wine sangria, they add some triple sect or brandy. A real proper Spanish sangria has that little bit of liquor. Sevilla is one of my favorites too. Oh, so glad. You remind me of a time when I led a tour with people from Denmark, and we ended the tour with drinking at the city winery. It was barely 1 p.m. Yeah, that's awesome. At Dutch Maas. Was it normal for your Danish tour guests to drink at 1 p.m.? Because it's not really that normal for Americans. Maybe some Americans do. I know. You mean there's more and more liberal Americans popping up. Especially in cities like New York. So you see a little bit more day drinking, but it's still not super popular. Yeah, like even when I personally go out with friends that are not European, that are from here in New York City. I have a lot of friends from Queens, some from the Bronx, from Manhattan. I go out with them and we have a Tuesday lunch at like 1 p.m. and I order a beer. They might make a comment. They'll say, ooh, that's a bit early. They usually do. Nowadays it's getting a little bit better, but. What's the big deal about bagels at Slay's? Great question. So, people love bagels because it's this sandwich bread that is fluffier. It holds heavy ingredients. So in order to have a lox cream cheese sandwich, it would be too heavy potentially for some sourdough bread. A piece of bread like this will be too heavy for it. So I think the bagel ends up being the perfect type of bread for that. Now, I cannot wait to go to Australia and have some brekkie, because they've taken the American brunch and made it like fancy and minimalistic at the same time. So I can't wait to go one day to Australia. Let me know if I have any Aussie viewers today. And what's your Australian brunch items? All right, I ate quite a lot. This has been an amazing chat. Have you guys enjoyed this chat? Let me know. These are special videos. I don't do these too often, where I just sit down for a long period of time. but I hope you enjoyed this mukbang. Ever did a tour with Walk, Ride, Fly? Not yet, but maybe soon. Shrimp on the Barbie is not, I don't think is a Australian brunch item. I'm 24 and never had a drink in my life, says L. That's okay. Don't need to drink. You know, in some areas of the world, people might look at you weird, but there's whole chunks of the world where drinking is weird. So you're probably not alone in not caring about drinks. They don't pick nice guys for president, says Fatima. Ramon says Ariel for president. Maybe one day. You are by far the most favorite tour guide. Your videos are really interesting. I love all the tours and the history you've given them. I'm so glad. New York City has a huge Jewish population. Yep, that's why bagels are very popular here. Even though they existed in Europe before, they were popularized en masse here. I wish my father explained that to me properly, says Shields. Oh, I'm glad, yeah. Someone earlier, says Shields, I think, said also that I didn't know Dubai was a dry country. Yeah, I mean, there might be bars. You might be able to get a drink, but it's still a dry country because the majority of the population does not drink. Or drinking is stigmatized. Which is okay. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's just every country is different. That jacket is ideal for hiding a few bottles of whiskey. Just like a good, huge flask. Indeed it is. Cynthia, I had blueberry pancakes. You're gonna see a photo of it after this. Blueberry pancakes and poached egg with bacon, potatoes, sourdough bread, orange juice, and some cold brew coffee. I'd rather muck fest. You know, I think it's a bit too, I get what you mean, Jackie, but it's a bit too late to change the title because there was more than 1 billion people in the world, or more, 1.8 billion people in the world that already know the term mukbang. So I think it's a bit too late to change the term. All right, let me get set up and I'll show you a little bit around. They gave me a lot of So I got one more item, which I'm gonna bring home to family, is a biscuit with some raspberry. And that's not for me, that's for family. Because I'm way too full. Cynthia, you love mukbangs. Oh, cool. Let me know who loves the mukbangs. It's okay if you don't, but let me know who enjoys it. All right, let me. That's a scone. It looks like a scone. Yeah, it's an American biscuit. It looks like a scone, but it's an American biscuit, and it's a bit more savory than the British scone. So bear with me for a few seconds as I go and show you, pack up so I can show you Empire Stores. Great video though, but why iced coffee on a cold day? Great question. I love iced coffee in general, so I'll drink iced coffee at any time of year. But specifically, on a cold day, I usually do drink hot coffee. The reason I got iced coffee was because it's very cold and I'm doing the video outdoors and I'm talking at the same time. and I don't want to sip all the coffee at once, or concentrate on sipping the coffee. So I got myself a cold brew, so I can have a long chat and not worry about the coffee getting cold. It's all about the video, ladies and gentlemen. It's all, it's like a magician. They make the magic trick, and they all make you feel like you saw some real magic. That's the video. Things are sometimes planned beyond pure spontaneousness. The key with live video is to make it feel spontaneous, make it feel like a casual, spontaneous walk in the park or casual chat. But sometimes there's more planning that goes into it, or consideration at least. All right, let's walk around. I'm gonna take a few more sips of this. It's good coffee. It got good after eating all that food. Not the best iced coffee, but after all that food, it's getting better. Problem is with these straws, paper straws, is that they start crumbling up after you leave it in the drink for a while. So you can't drink from them. And then you get a paper taste. That's weird, that paper taste. Ice Americano? This might be yeah, you're right. This might be an ice Americano. Maybe either an Americano or they put hot drip coffee over ice. Not the best. But it isn't terrible either. So. Paper straws are amazing, but if you leave them in a drink too much, yeah, it starts getting that weird papery taste. All right, let's walk around, shall we? I prefer to drink cold beverages without a straw. If you drink iced coffee without a straw, it will leave you so dried up afterwards. I'm not sure if anyone has done it, but how was the juice? It was really good and fresh. Oh, let me put on my mask as well. All right, we are in the middle of a global pandemic. This scarf reminds you of of Charles Lindbergh. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. All right, let's go. You can have this view too, and don't need to pay for a fancy restaurant. It's okay to pay for a fancy restaurant, but I can tell you, if you're on the budget, you can also dine like a king and a queen, or a not gendered royal official. So here's TimeOut Market. Don't need to pay for a flight ticket either. Yeah. Button your shirt is too open. My shirt is probably, there's a max. I'm buttoning it. So there's more seating here on the side. We're already starting to see a lot of people brunch. Let me throw this away, get a little bit closer. It was like makeshift. Oh. They made these garbage cans too small. Why so few people around? Good question. Brooklyn is very, very empty, and I think because there's such a rise in cases, COVID cases in many nearby states, that the tourists that were coming in from Connecticut and New Jersey and Vermont and many other places have stopped coming in. Alex, yeah, you recommended Ignacio's Pizza under the Brooklyn Bridge. But usually this would be very full. Thanksgiving has also never been a peak season in general. Usually a lot of families kind of just travel to other places. So I'm not entirely sure. Dumbo stands for Down Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass. What was this place? So we are the TimeOut Market. So lots of outdoor seating. Showing it to you from this perspective. I'll go the other way in front as well. So TimeOut Market. And I think they probably have the door locked. Yeah, they have the door locked this way. So I'll show you the entrance the other way. Jackie says Vermont has gotten stricter about out-of-state traveling rules due to an increase in our cases. Yep, exactly. So that's why it might be empty. New York was already starting to get full again in early November, if you see my earlier videos this month. But things are changing. Jesse says the schools are going to open up again. Oh, really? So weird that they keep opening and closing them. Just keep it closed. Formerly the Tobacco Warehouse. Yep, the shell of the building dates back to the 1860s. Yeah, Dutch Moss, thank you. It was the Arbuckle Coffee Company as well. They had alcohol stored in the vaults. Oh, they did. RDNC. Oh, cool. I want to give a huge thanks. I want to give a huge thanks to Michael, who bought me a book on the Amazon wish list, which I now have linked in the description of my comments. It's a list of books and gear that is helpful for these videos and showing you new places and interesting histories and locations. So thank you, Michael, for gifting me a book about 1930s New York. I'm so excited to read it and have new stories upcoming this month. All right, let's go into TimeOut Market. Kevin, I'm in Dumbo, Brooklyn. So Empire Stores is the main entrance. And I'll show you the entrance to the TimeOut Market, which is right over here. So this is the Pancakes spot I went to. And I'll post photos of it on Instagram right after. Can we contribute towards a gift on the wish list? Yes, you can. The wish list is the last link in the description of this video. And if you want to gift me a very specific book, do let me know the name, send me a message, or put down a comment. I will add that book to my wish list, or anything else that might be related to the show. I'll add that item to the wish list and you can gift it to me via Amazon. Yeah. You can't contribute partly, unfortunately. But there's books in there that I'll need for traveling to the UK soon, and there's if anyone really wants to contribute, there's gear as well that's helpful for filming. So I was confused at the names. 4K, thank you so much for putting the wish list. Yeah, so Clinton Street Baking Company is just one of the shops inside. There's a few of them. There's Pat LaFreda, which is burgers and hot dogs. There is like a Mexican place. There's a Japanese place. There's Jacob's Pickles, which is the biscuits and fried chicken place we visited a few weeks ago in the Upper West Side. They also have an outpost here. So it's like a food court, but it's like a very fancy local food court. All the locations here are local. You won't find any major chains. So let's go inside. Oh, Janice, no, partly contribute can't, but of course, any PayPal or support on Facebook or Patreon is helpful for getting those things as well, which I'll get on my own. I just put that up there because a few people reached out to me that they wanted to gift a specific book. So that was the easiest way. Amazon wishlist. All right, let's go inside. I'll show you the upstairs. We'll end over there. So this is TimeOut Market right here. Is this live? Yes, it is, Radu. Yeah. When was this built? This opened last year, I think. It was last year. And this is where I got the pancakes. Last year. All right. So it's huge. Most places here on the weekends open at 11, and during the weekdays, because of the pandemic, they're opening at 4. So let's go up the escalator. It's beautiful, yeah. I'll be posting photos of it on Instagram, which is going to be sponsored by the market. That's why I had the food for free. Does TimeOut have to do anything with the magazine? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Oh. The entire complex is called Empire Stores. So if people wanted to see how I look like when I'm streaming, this is how I look like when I'm streaming. Or more so to a camera. Don't let the elevator take you down. Dickens, are you making a pun? Oh, the cocktail place is open now again. Oh, cool. Also, they're open at this time. Well, that's awesome. Oh, and they're playing some Arcade Fire. I love Arcade Fire. You must have strong arms. Yes. It's all about the forearms. Elisa says, I saw you yesterday without camera in hand. Yeah, and that's because I did a video with New York City Walking Show. So you can also come up here and eat. There's a lot of benches, and there's tables over there where you can bring up your food and also have a drink with your food. Dutch, any thoughts on about the cheese grater building? Oh, you're referring to this one? They put it in a weird position. I wouldn't mind it if it was like a few buildings down, but the fact that it kind of blocks the perspective of the Manhattan Bridge is a bit weird. It sticks out, but you know, I think eventually with more skyscrapers in this area, it really is not going to make a difference. Lori, how's my brunch with Mary Jane? Mary Jane couldn't come today, but my brunch was really good. I'll be doing brunch with Mary Jane at some point in the future, so stay tuned. So we can have that chat about European versus American. And this is where I was sitting, right there at that table where the kids are now. Ciao, Urbanus. Hello, Giuseppe. Nice to see you here. All right, if anyone has any last remaining questions, or if I missed a question earlier, feel free to ask one more time. Is that big river an ocean? This is an ocean. This is a tidal estuary. This is called the East River, but it's a misnomer because it's actually a tidal estuary, which means it's a part of the ocean. So it's salty. Are you Red Hook? Kyle, no. Red Hook, you have to continue going down. You can go by ferry, or you would have to either take a cab or a train is a bit tricky, but it's a bit farther away. Let's go for a swim, says Luminar. And that would be the easiest way to get some radiation. The buildings on the Brooklyn side with the clock tower were Jehovah's Witness buildings. Yep. And there we see the Williamsburg Bridge. How do we gift you a book from your wish list? On Amazon. So you go to the Amazon wish list link. Bastar Caveman. You go to the Amazon link, Amazon wish list link, and then you can add to cart. And to ship it, you click at send as gift to the person, which is me. Send as gift to Ariel Vera. And then I'll send it to me. Yeah. But you'll be buying it, but as a gift, which is cool. If you want me to add a specific book that you recommend for about history or food, then do let me know and add it, and then you'll be able to purchase it. How are you getting home, Janet? I take the train. Right now. Does anyone know if the South Seaport is open? Yes, it is. It is open. This is where I was sitting before. And this area looks like nice to visit. Oh yeah, it does, Renee, Irene. And Renee from Ireland, welcome. And what's the name of the bridge? So, Williamsburg there at the end. Manhattan is the blue one. And Brooklyn Bridge. Lori, enjoyed your collab with NYC Walking Show last night. Oh, I'm so glad. Cheese grater sales so bad, developer waives 1 decade of common fees. Whoa. Oh, lowercase guy, that's crazy. It's not the best neighborhood, this. So a lot of people are referring to this building, they call it the cheese grater, just like in London. And this neighborhood is the neighborhood of Two Bridges, or Lower East Side. Well, Two Bridges and Lower East Side. And this neighborhood is not the best. It's really not the best. Actually, this is the neighborhood of Mr. Robot. So if you've ever seen that show, that's his dingy apartment in that neighborhood. Manhattan equals metal. Brooklyn equals brick. Yep. That's the best way to remember it. George Washington, much farther away, Tajandar. Much farther away. And have you watched London Perambulator? No, not yet. Great doc about walking London. Oh, thank you, Lost in Curve. I will look into it. London Perambulator. Ooh, interesting. Thank you. I can't wait to check that out. Thank you. Call me Bernal. Oh, okay, Bernard. Bernard, thank you so much. Don't eat the mic, Andreas. I'll try not to. I'll try not to. Oysters. We're in the East River. Don't eat oysters. They used to be plentiful both on the East River and the Hudson River. However, New Yorkers basically ate them all by the early 1900s. Sorry, I got interrupted. They basically ate them all by the early 1900s. You know how New Yorkers right now eat a bunch of pizza, bagels, and hot dogs? Hot dogs may not so much anymore, but pizza definitely. Well, instead of pizza, we ate a bunch of oysters. And basically all these trillions of oysters were gone and were to extinction. Plus, there was heavy manufacturing popping up all along the waterfront, including buildings like these. And also, what ends up happening is that the water started becoming polluted as well. So rather than seeing the beautiful blue, crystal blue waters that used to be the case in the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, it ended up becoming very muddied, gray, greenish water. Because oysters were water purifiers. They're natural water purifiers. So the waters used to be crystal clear blue, which is kind of crazy to think about. Imagine Henry Hudson coming over here, or the early, George Washington fighting his battles here and looking out into the East River. It would have been a crystal clear river, but not anymore. So the oysters that are now being reintroduced with the help of humans are not good for eating. So don't eat oyster here. They're being regrown both on the East River and the Hudson. No. And you're showing the Smith's projects where you currently live. And Ramon says, we are real people. And his friends are virtual. He doesn't know how to talk to real people, says YouTuber. YouTuber, you're right. Don't know how to talk to real people at all. I'm terrible with real people. I'm a very shy, introverted human individual. Very awkward with people. Very awkward. I'm being sarcastic, everyone. Hello, Darren. And the Billion Oyster Project is amazing. Yeah, it is. In the 1900s, 30s, and 40s, kids would swim in the barge. I'm astonished that kids used to swim at the barges here in the East River. If anyone's watching from that generation, explain me, why? Wasn't it polluted? Wasn't it even more polluted than it is now? I was here in August and I saw kids taking a swim in Williamsburg, right by the artificial beach. And I was just astonished. And it was like middle class kids from, Williamsburg, that their parents were, they came here like in the early 2000s. And I was astonished that usually these type of parents, the stereotype with the middle class white Anglo-Saxon Americans here in New York City, the stereotype is that they're very kind of afraid for their kids. They taking care of them and make sure they don't go too far and they don't roam the streets alone. That's the stereotype. So I was stunned to see these parents just letting their kids swim in the East River. So let me know if anyone does that right now, or if you were a kid generations back doing that. Let me know why. Was it not that bad? I don't know. There are pictures of kids jumping into the rivers. They post them periodically. Yeah, David. Yeah, I've seen many photos, and you posted a few of them. Probably, but sanitary standards back then were a shadow of what they are now. Indeed. Have you ever heard that they were going to build the Plus Pool? They were supposed to build the Plus Pool over here, and I think then they moved it to Williamsburg, but it never happened. Never happened. I think it will end up being too expensive. They end up calculating. So the city, I think, lost interest. And David says, you mean helicopter parents. Is that the term that they use for that kind of stereotypical overprotective parent? There's a lot of shows that depict that stereotype. I didn't go into generations ago. I was not born yet, says MDW. Yeah. And kids jump off the sea rock for years. Yeah. And Shield says the Plus Pool needs money. Yeah. It proved to be too expensive. It proved to be way too expensive. And George Carlin used to joke that he swam in the East River and it made him immune to everything, says Jackie. Oh, I gotta re-listen to that joke. That's awesome. That's really cool. So George Carlin, famous New York comedian, probably known as one of the best comedians of all history. Check him out, he's hilarious. So Jackie says that he has one particular joke about swimming to the East River and suddenly he's immune. And I love Hudson Yards, says Stygian there. Yeah, it's beautiful. But you can see it right over here. Right there. All right, everyone. This has been a long broadcast. I hope you enjoyed chatting, eating, commiserating, over amazing brunch. Highly recommend Clinton Street Baking Company. You'll be seeing the photo and address and information in Instagram post / Facebook post soon. So if you want to follow me for extra photos, they're posted mostly on Facebook and on Instagram. And of course, my videos, Urbanist Exploring Cities, you can see them both on YouTube and Facebook. So my Instagram, Urbanist Live, I'll put it one more time. Urbanist Live, follow me on Instagram. Extra photos there that are not posted to YouTube, which you'll find architecture, usually food and architecture are the two things I cover on Instagram. And deeper thoughts about cities and traveling. So Clinton Street Baking Company in TimeOut Market in Dumbo, Brooklyn is really wonderful. Highly recommend it. Lowercase guy says, love the brunch, but the zoo was a hoot. Indeed it was. I think it sealed the deal for all of us that the zoo was amazing. Thank you, Lowercase guy, for the wonderful super chat. Everyone, thank you so much for a lot of new supporters that are popping up on Facebook as well, and new patrons as well. Thank you so much for the new patrons. Everyone, keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. I'll see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. for more explorations of New York City. Have a great day, everyone. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.